Phil, afternoon.
How are you? You all right?
Good, you?
Yes, not too bad, thank you.
So you've seen one of these before?
I have.
You know what happens?
I think so.
Right, well, listen.
Let's see how it goes then.
If we could get out of here, I'll be well happy.
In your new car.
Well, this has been kindly, I was going to say donated then, but
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be very. But yeah, lent to us by Northampton Audi. But it's. I thought I'll come in to talk to you about your amazing business and
you've got an electric
footprint.
car, look.
Electric
How
car.
good is that?
Yeah. Sustainability.
Absolutely. I think we're going to get stuck here.
Yes. Well,
now he's going that way.
So here we are at head office in Luton, but Milton Keynes in Northamptonshire is very much part of the business.
Yep.
And when I was doing my research, the business has been going for just over 70 years.
It has. It was started by Frank and Reg Cawley, and they were doing earthworks on the M1 when that was being constructed. So it's gone from strength to strength. John took over the business. I think he's number one on the payroll. Actually, he's been doing it 50 years. So I took over from John a couple of years ago as the MD. John is now the chairman. So it's now my responsibility to move it on, hopefully in the same way that he's done from those days. So turn right or left here, it doesn't matter which way you go. So yeah, no, it's a great business, and it's whilst everyone thinks we're a huge business, we're still a family business, and we like to work like that as well.
Yeah.
And we like people to know we're a family business, not a huge corporate business.
Well, Cawleys, I think,
we quite enjoy that.
Yeah, it's one of those regional brands where when people see the purple and the blue, if you like.
We can't quite work out whether it's Aston Villa or West Ham, so. And we get asked that question a lot. And
you're in the middle.
Yes, yeah, and actually the chairman likes rugby, so it's neither Aston Villa nor is it West Ham. Oh, there you go.
So, but staff-wise, you've obviously grown significantly, and then maintained that in what is really a competitive industry. But you're a big regional player. So, how many staff have you got?
We employ in the region of between 215 and 220 people.
Yeah.
Okay. And a large proportion of those operational staff, we run 68 to 70 vehicles. So yeah, we're a very operational based business, so it's very labour intensive. So they account for about 80% of our staff, and it's tough trying to recruit for an industry like this. It's not like driving a lovely new lorry up and down the M1. Our guys are in and out of the vehicles every day, loading waste. So it doesn't appeal to everybody as well. But I've been doing it I'm now 43, and I've been doing it since I was 19. So
wow. So you've literally done all of the roles.
I have, and I started sticking stickers on a wheelie bin. So yeah, and I just managed to move my way up. It might have taken me 24 years to do it, but
started sticking, putting stickers on the wheelie bins up to MD.
And I only wanted the job for a few days.
Yeah.
So it was only a stopgap. So now I've enjoyed it. I went from sticking stickers on a wheelie bin to loading dust carts, and then from that I went to driving, onto sales, depot management, and then into more senior roles from there on in. So no, it's been good. It's been good.
So what's the biggest, as your most recent role as MD last couple of years?
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge for you?
Once I got over the initial shock, I found it very different from being a director, where I was kind of, if I want to put it this way, at the same level as everyone else, to being kind of like number one in the company, on top of the company. It's quite a different place. All of a sudden you're responsible for this third generation family business, and responsible for the family's livelihood and the livelihood of 215 people who I want to keep them in a job. I want to keep them employed. I want to bring more people into the business as we grow.
But the family have obviously got a huge amount of faith and confidence in you, and you're clearly doing a really good job. in terms of the services that Cawleys provide, you know, you've got thousands of customers that are based in this region, but how important is it that you keep evolving the service portfolio, if you like, and to diversify? Because I would imagine not all your customers are utilising every service you provide.
No, they're not. I mean, we have a huge, varied customer base. We have shopping centres, hotels, universities, newsagents, fish and chip shops, chemical plants. It's such a broad range. So you're using one wheelie bin once every couple of weeks to having lots of different kit and equipment on site, from taking away general waste and recycling to chemicals, and it is so varied. So we operate four or five main different collection vehicles, and then we go right up into doing hazardous waste. So that is
very specialist.
Very, very specialist. We've got a qualified chemist working for us. So yeah, no, we have lots of different services on offer, and it's good to be involved in that. So we're doing work with hospitals at the moment. We're looking at doing offensive waste. We're doing vegware, which is compostable, cups and cutlery and so on. We've got a service with those. We do coffee grounds, we do coffee cups, and then
so there's a clear link there with environmental and carbon footprint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside of looking in, I can only describe that it must be a nightmare, because you've got so many different variables to ensure that your carbon footprint is. Yeah, and we're looking at lots of different ways, and unfortunately, with lorries at the moment aren't quite as, what's the way of putting it? They're not quite in the same range as cars at the moment, so they haven't got the battery life that cars. That's the car we're driving at the moment. Yeah. There aren't many lorries that are of the same power in terms of battery at the moment, but we're working on that, and we're looking at something with one of our chassis suppliers at the moment, and with a body supplier who is making battery powered dust carts. So it's the body that's powered by battery, not the chassis. So we're looking at that at the moment, but it's still a very, very expensive technology at the moment, but it's something we have to look at in the future, as the demand for carbon emissions in the environment and this sustainability as that moves forward. And the marketplace is, I mean, when you think about waste, there's only really a handful of things that we all need services for, and so on one hand the marketplace is huge, but in terms of competitors, if you like, I struggle to probably name more than 3 or 4 that are in the region. So
I mean,
but you're one of the last independents. Is that right?
Yeah, there's not very many independent in the field that we work in. So there are independent skip companies that deal with construction waste and so on. But it's been quite good for us, because the people that we were the same as, they've been bought by larger organisations like Biffa and Veolia, which is good for us, because I believe our service is I think we're able to adapt quicker than some of the larger players within the industry. And for us, customer services and our reaction times is key to what we do as a business, and it's key to our customers.
And the retention rate of customer service and customer support, because you're based in Luton, but you've obviously got your you've got a depot in Wellingborough, depot in Milton Keynes.
So we've got Milton Keynes, we've got Wellingborough, we've got two depots in Luton. So I mean, we cover we've got customers in West London, East London. They are quite specific customers in those areas. There's only sort of two or three large customers, and then we go from the North Circular right the way up to Daventry. So it's a huge geographical coverage.
And if we look at the business, how my original question was going to be over the last 5 years, but how you've seen the business change, and not just the business, the sector change and evolve over the last 20 odd years. How can you forecast what's going to change over the next 5? Where will that this sector be in 5 and 10 years' time?
For me, the challenges remain around off-taking material. Okay, what we can process as a business. So we are working on a huge project at the moment to potentially maybe investing in different plant kit and equipment to actually keep up with the off-take demand. So we have what we will term as general waste, okay, which we can't do anything with, but we send to energy from waste. We can't recover anything from it. And the recovery market, so where we sell cardboard and paper at the moment, the restrictions on that and the demand for cleanliness of material has meant we need to adapt and change the way we process. We've launched a service where we now pick up commodity in its own bag. So we'll pick up bags of cans, bags of plastic bottles, cardboard, paper and magazines, instead of mixing it all together, because we can't have it mixed anymore with material that's going to contaminate it, which means it's unsellable, which means it would then have to go as general waste or to an energy from waste plant. And one of the biggest things for the UK at the moment is there's not enough energy from waste plants and there's too much material.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of companies now are sending material out to Europe, where they have the opposite problem. They have too many energy from waste plants and not enough tonnage.
So when, just if I take you back a moment, so when you look at, obviously this is me being a beginner, a novice to this, so I sign up with you, you come and collect our commercial waste, which is your typical office waste, yeah? How much time and effort goes in, or what's the time process from when it's collected by your guys, brought back to?
It'll be done by the next day.
Next day, so it's 24 hours, as quick as that.
It'll be processed. It'll be processed the next day. So we have restrictions on our restrictions on our license. We have to have the shed and the floor clear by the end of every single week. Okay, so we don't want material lying around where there's a risk of it getting dirty, which means we can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So for us, efficiency, and we have to book the vehicles to come and collect the material, and we have to keep up with those. So if we overbook and we don't have enough material to fill the boxes, so to speak, then we get penalised for that financially. So our production process has to keep up with the demand for offtake, the demand for the material that we've sold. So we sell our material at the beginning of every month, so we have to predict everything all the time.
And but again, coming back to like forecasting and operationally, logistically, when you come to empty my bin, you don't know if it's going to be full to the rafters, whether it's going to be a third full, or what's even going to be in it. Really?
No, I mean, if all our customers on our dust carts and our RELs, they're scheduled. So we'll either collect the bin weekly, twice weekly, 5 times a week, every other week, or 4 weekly. So we know.
So you try to get within like 10%, maybe.
We know roughly how much material is going to come in as a kind of average, and there'll be peaks and troughs. So Christmas, it's a bit rushed, because obviously we have the Christmas Day and Boxing Day where we don't collect, but we're back out the day after Boxing Day.
So I'd imagine it's having a happy workforce is a pretty key.
Yeah, it's absolutely key, because in the UK there's a real shortage of HGV drivers now, and there's an even bigger shortage for the waste industry, because it's very, very difficult to get good, what we would term as waste drivers, because it doesn't appeal to everybody. So we've spent a significant amount of money in investing in better kit and equipment to make the drivers more comfortable. I mean, they're in those cabs for 10-12 hours a day, so it has to be a comfortable working environment.
Yeah.
So there's in our articulated lorries, there's fridges, microwaves, TVs, and so on, just to keep the drivers comfortable at night. They're quite nice places to be.
Yeah,
actually.
Sounds better than my house, actually.
Yeah, it's better than my first flat anyway. And so there's significant investment. It's significant investment there, and we're also doing a lot in terms of staff engagement as well. So yesterday we launched our second engagement survey or staff engagement survey, because I want to understand as the MD what the employees are feeling, because it's important, because good people are hard to find. We want, and for me, the happier our workforce are, the better the service we're going to give to our customers. So
and that's
it kind of flows through.
That's really pleasing to hear. And just as we're approaching the end now, Phil, from a sector that's so important to general life, really, for all of us as consumers, and businesses, what could the government do more to help the industry as a whole? Because you highlighted a few minutes ago about the lack of plants, if you like, or facilities that are in the UK, whereas in Europe they're sport for choice, if you like, but in England we're not. So
I think they need to really look at the planning consent, because what you tend to find is a lot of people don't want these energy from waste plants in their backyard. Okay, the UK in recent times seems to be happy to give their problem to someone else, so hence the reason a lot of the RDF, okay, which is refuse derived fuel, goes out to Europe, and we just haven't kept up building the plants that we need to build. That locally to Luton, Northampton, Milton Keynes, there are a couple of plants in process now, which I personally believe is good for the area, and we do need that. So it means
we're producing more waste now than what we ever have done.
Absolutely, every single household in the UK produces waste. Every single business in the UK produces waste, from one wheelie bin once a week to maybe 30 wheelie bins 5 times a week. So for me, it's great. I'm never going to be short of a customer base. Okay. So we're always going to have waste in the UK, okay, and we just need to build an infrastructure that supports that and not rely on other countries to deal with our material for us.
Yeah.
And for me, as the MD of a regional company, I want to keep the material in the UK, because actually I believe it's a better story, and we don't get maybe tied up in issues surrounding the dreaded B word in Brexit, and so on. So.
Yeah. Well, Phil, I've really enjoyed this. Hopefully, our audience that are watching this have learnt something new about Cawleys that they didn't know before.
Quite like an electric Q5 as well.
Yeah, I know. That's a big shout out to Northampton Audi for that, because this is a special car. But I thought it was appropriate.
Absolutely.
When I was coming to see you. So I am grateful, and I think there's definitely an inspiring message there when you consider your background coming to the sector at the age of 19 to where you are now. Is it right here?
Yeah.
To where you are now, and of course, you know, the message there around happy workforce. So, would you say that you could see yourself employing maybe another 10 or 20 people over the next sort of 18-20 months? Or?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I'd love to be able to do that, but we have to grow the business to be able to do that. So it's important that our sales team go out and win enough business for us to be able to do that. But we have got tenders we're quoting for at the moment, which we hope will win, obviously. And there's certainly a couple of those that enable us to employ more people, which is good. It's good for the region and good for us as an organisation. So yeah.
And that is a perfect way to end.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Quite like this car, actually.